You're about to learn how to conquer something most men spend their entire lives never figuring out, because it sneaks up on people when they least expect it. You know what I'm talking about, that annoying moment of confrontation you hate so much and wish would stop repeating itself in your life. That hot wave of shame and embarrassment when someone dismisses you mid-sentence, when they intrude on your boundary like it's a joke, when they look right through you like your opinion is useless. And the worst part, you stand there frozen, or you stammer, or you say something so weak it makes the disrespect much worse. Then you get home and you replay it for hours afterward thinking, I should have said this, or why didn't I just do this? But in the moment, nothing. Just the burning knowledge that you let someone treat you like trash. Again. What if I told you there are 7 specific phrases that flip that script entirely? 7 responses so psychologically precise that they don't just earn respect, they command it. Number 4 will make manipulators physically uncomfortable. Number 6 sounds simple, but carries the force of a psychological boundary they cannot cross. And by the end of this video, you'll have a verbal arsenal that turns every disrespectful moment into your victory. And the best part? You'll deliver them without raising your voice, not even once. Now, strap in. Let's get into it. 1. You're entitled to your opinion, but it changes nothing. This is the nuclear option disguised as politeness. When someone tries to pressure you into their worldview, most people either argue for hours or cave in silently. Both are losses. This phrase does something different. It acknowledges their existence without granting them authority over you. Here's why it works. The first part disarms them. It shows you're not threatened by their opinion. But then comes the hammer. It changes nothing. No debate. No negotiation. You're not asking for permission. You're declaring independence. Picture this. Your family's at dinner. Someone's pushing their opinion about your career, your relationship, your entire life direction. They're relentless. Most people would either explode or shrink. But you? You lean back, completely calm, and say, you're entitled to your opinion. But it changes nothing. Then watch what happens. The push stops, because they just realized you're not a project they can fix. You're a force of nature they have to accept. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This response separates your internal conviction from their external noise. And here's the key. The calmer you say it, the stronger it lands. Desperation destroys power, but calmness preserves it. Use this when someone won't let go of an argument. Use it when people try to reshape you into their image. It's not rude, it's final. And final is exactly what respect looks like. 2. I hear what you're saying. My answer is no. Most people are terrified of the word no, so they wrap it in apologies. I'm sorry, I just don't think I can. Maybe another time. I wish I could, but stop. Every word after no weakens it. Every excuse you add hands them a tool to manipulate you. This phrase strips all that away. I hear what you're saying shows emotional intelligence. You're not dismissing them, you're proving you listened. But then, my answer is no. Clean, direct, unshakable. Let me tell you what happens psychologically when you use this. The person asking expects negotiation. They expect you to justify yourself. But when you don't, they're thrown off balance. Because in their mind, no should come with reasons they can argue against. When it doesn't, the conversation's over. You just ended it without being rude. Imagine you're at work. A co-worker begs you to take on another project, one that'll drown your nights and weekends. You feel the pressure, the guilt, the fear of looking uncooperative. But instead of folding, you look them in the eye and say, "I hear what you're saying. My answer is no." The room respects you more in that moment than if you'd said yes 100 times. Seneca wrote, "No man is free who is a slave to his flesh." But I'd add, no man is free who's a slave to other people's expectations. This phrase is how you break those chains. That's 2 down. The next one is where things get dangerous, for them, not you. 3. We're not doing this. Try again. This is the phrase manipulators fear most. Because it doesn't argue, it doesn't defend, it just resets the entire interaction and puts you in control. Here's the psychology. When someone disrespects you, they're testing whether you'll accept the frame they've set. The insult, the condescending tone, the boundary violation. Most people either match the aggression or absorb it silently. Both validate the disrespect. But this phrase does neither. "We're not doing this" shuts down the behavior without explaining why. You're not asking for respect, you're taking it. And when you say, "Try again," that's the twist. You're giving them a chance to correct themselves, but only on your terms. It's dominance wrapped in civility. Picture this. Someone throws a passive-aggressive comment your way in a meeting. Everyone hears it. You feel the sting. Most people would either fire back or pretend it didn't happen. But you pause. You let the silence stretch. Then you say, calm as steel, "We're not doing this. Try again." The room freezes. Because you just did something most people can't. You refused to participate in your own disrespect. And here's what's beautiful. The person who tried you now has a choice. Correct themselves and lose face, or double down and look unhinged. Either way, you win. Epictetus taught that we can't control what others do, only how we respond. You're not controlling their behavior. That will always be random. You're controlling the space they're allowed to operate in. And when you do that, respect isn't optional anymore. It's mandatory. 4. That works for you, not me. This one sounds innocent. It's not. It's a psychological boundary so strong that people can feel it even if they don't understand it. Most arguments happen because we think there's one right answer, one right way to live, work, love. So when someone challenges your path, the instinct is to defend it, to prove you're right and they're wrong. That's the trap. This phrase dismantles the argument before it starts. That works for you acknowledges their path without endorsing it. Then comes the boundary, not for me. You're not debating, you're not defending, you're simply declaring that your reality operates on different terms. No apology, no explanation, just 2 separate truths that don't need to fight for dominance. Here's where it gets powerful. When you use this phrase, you remove the power struggle. There's no winner or loser, just 2 people with different needs. And because you're not threatening their worldview, they have no reason to attack yours. The aggression dies. Imagine a friend keeps pushing their lifestyle on you. The way they eat, the way they treat others, the way they spend money. They think their way is the only way. You've tried explaining. You've tried ignoring it. Nothing works. So finally, you say, "That works for you, not me." No anger, no justification, just the truth. They might not like it, but they'll respect it. Because deep down, everyone knows this. A person who knows what works for them is stronger than a person still searching for validation. Progress check. We have 2 more to reveal. If you're finding calm clarity in this strategy already, like the video. And if you're watching from the US, drop a comment. I want to know exactly where this wisdom is landing tonight. We are building an innumerable army of men who refuse to settle for disrespect. 5. I'm removing myself from this situation. This phrase is misunderstood. People think it's fear. It's not. It's a strategy. The Stoics understood something modern psychology confirms: you can't win every battle. Some fights are designed to drain you. Some people don't want resolution. They want your energy, your frustration, your surrender. And when you finally realize that, you unlock a superpower, the power to leave. "I'm removing myself from this situation" is a declaration, not a request. You're not asking if it's okay to leave, you're announcing it. And here's the psychology. When you frame it as removing yourself rather than running away, you maintain frame control. You're not escaping, you're making a strategic choice. Picture this. An argument has spiraled, voices are raised, nothing productive is happening, your body's tense, your mind's racing. This is the moment most people either explode or implode. But you take a breath, you center yourself, and you say, "I'm removing myself from this situation." Then you leave. What happens next is critical. The other person is left with their own chaos. They can't project it onto you anymore because you're gone. And in that silence, something shifts. They're forced to sit with their own behavior. That's when growth happens, not in the heat of the fight, but in the quiet after. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This phrase is that wisdom activated. You're refusing to match their energy. You're protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. This next one is gonna make their stomachs turn and their blood boil from within. Ready? 6. Your disrespect says more about you than me. This phrase probably just made you uncomfortable. Good, it should, because it's not something you say lightly. It's something you deploy when someone crosses a line so blatantly that silence would be self-betrayal. Here's the psychological precision. When someone disrespects you, they expect one of two reactions: retaliation or submission. This phrase gives them neither. Instead, it redirects the spotlight. You're not defending yourself, you're holding up a mirror. "Your disrespect says more about you than me" is a statement of fact, not an attack. You're pointing out that their behavior reveals their character, not yours. And because it's true, it lands with devastating accuracy. They will feel it. Imagine someone publicly mocks you, maybe online, maybe in person. They're trying to diminish you, to make themselves feel bigger. Most people would either lash back or pretend it didn't hurt. But you look them dead in the eye and say, "Your disrespect says more about you than me." Then you move on. Here's what happens internally for them. Shame, because you just made them aware of what they were trying to hide, that their disrespect comes from their own insecurity, not your inadequacy. You didn't attack, you didn't defend, you just illuminated the truth. And truth is the sharpest weapon. Seneca said, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." This phrase ensures you don't suffer at all, because you've separated their behavior from your worth. And once that separation is complete, they can't touch you. 7. This conversation is over. 4 words, maximum impact. This is the closer, the final boundary, the line that says, "I've given you chances, I've been patient, I've been clear, now we're done." Most people fear this phrase because it feels aggressive. It's not, it's decisive. And decisiveness is what weak people mistake for aggression because they've never practiced it themselves. Here's the truth about boundaries. They mean nothing if you don't enforce them. You can say, "That's not okay," 100 times. But if you never walk away, people learn your boundaries are negotiable. This phrase makes it unnegotiable. This conversation is over works because it requires no explanation. You're not saying why. You're not defending the decision. You're simply ending what needs to end. And when you do that, with zero emotion, zero hesitation, people recognize they've lost access. Picture this. Someone keeps pushing. You've used the other phrases. You've been patient. But they're still testing, still prodding, still disrespecting. So you stand up, you look at them one last time, and you say, "This conversation is over." Then you leave. No looking back, no second guessing. What you've just done is irreversible. You've shown them that you value your peace more than their presence. And that realization that they don't have power over you is what finally commands their respect. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This phrase is you being who you are, someone whose boundaries are sacred, whose time is valuable, whose respect is non-negotiable. Now, notice the pattern. Not one of these phrases requires you to yell. Not one asks you to explain yourself into exhaustion. Not one depends on the other person's approval. They're all self-contained acts of power. This is the Stoic secret. True strength isn't reactive, it's declarative. You don't fight for respect. You simply stop accepting disrespect. And when you do that consistently, the world reorganizes itself around your standards. Think about your last 3 months. How many times did you let something slide that shouldn't have? How many times did you argue when you should have walked away? How many times did you seek validation instead of declaring your truth? Here's what I want you to do. Pick one phrase, just one, and use it this week, not in your head, out loud, in a real situation where you'd normally retreat in silence or argue too long. Then come back here and comment, "I used this phrase." That's it. No story necessary. Just accountability. Because the difference between knowing and doing is everything. If this video rewired something in you, be intentional about your growth. Subscribe to this channel. We're not just talking about Stoicism here. We're living it. Every video is a tool. Every lesson is a test. And every test you pass makes you someone who commands respect without ever begging for it. Remember, the world doesn't respect what you say, it respects what you do. So stop talking about boundaries and start enforcing them. Stop wishing for respect and start demanding it. These 7 phrases are your starting point. Now go use them.